The next Ødegaard is going to be one of the future's best top 10 midfielders, probably of all time, but definitely in his generation. He just transferred to Manchester City. He's just 18 years old, and he's already one of the best in the Norwegian leagues. Who am I talking about? I'm talking about Nypan. I think that's how you say his name. Just transferred to Manchester City, and he's going to be the next Ødegaard. And I explain what makes him so good, is he worth it, and everything you need to know about it. So Nypan, he made his debut at 15 years old, becoming Rosenborg. That's the club he plays for currently, or like used to, and his first ever football club. And at 15 years old, he became the youngest ever appearance maker. And at 16 years old, he became the youngest ever goal scorer. And in 2023 and 2024, he got the Young Player of the Year award. And he got that 2 years in a row, 2023 and 2024. So he's definitely one of the best young players in that league. Now, what makes Nypan linked to Ødegaard? What makes him resembles Ødegaard? Well, his position. He operates primarily as a central midfielder or the number 8 role, and that's like the role that Ødegaard plays for Arsenal, and he's showing glimpses of Ødegaard. Obviously, Ødegaard, he went to Real Madrid at 16 years old. Nypan, he hasn't done that, and I feel like he's done the smarter move. He stayed in the Norwegian league, his boyhood club, but the club he started off with, and he's eventually gone to Manchester City, where he think he can actually get into the side somewhere. Ødegaard had no chance of getting into the Real Madrid side at that age, and so I feel like Nypan, he made the clever move there. He's known for his football IQ, his spatial awareness, and his dual-footed passing. The reason he's compared to Ødegaard is because he has that same creative outlet. Not exactly the same, but he's very, very close, or shows glimpses of what Ødegaard can do. And he definitely has potential to go to Ødegaard's level, and probably even better. That's why people are saying he's the next Ødegaard. He's going to be one of the best young creative midfielders in his generation, probably one of the best if he continues to develop at the rate he has done so far. He has excellent vision and goal contributions. He got 8 goals and 7 assists in 28 league games. That's about a goal contribution every other game. And for a player and that was in 2024, so that was for a player who was about 17, 18 years old. And not much people at that age can say they've done that. Even if it is in a lower league, not in the top 5 leagues, still that's pretty insane for a player who's just 17 or 18 years old. And he's got a goal contribution every other game. And he was starting regularly for Rosenborg. And at that age, that shows immense maturity, immense playing ability, and his ability is already very high, and his potential, you just have to wonder how high can he get. Creative volume. An underrated metric trait stat of his is his dribbling. He averages 1.66 successful dribbles per 90. That's successful. And that makes him in the top 5% of the Norwegian league. And that's actually insane for a player who's just 16, 17 years old. And imagine what he can do when he's in his prime. So this player Nypan, he can dribble, he can pass, he can score, and under Pep Guardiola's coaching, you're just gonna wonder how good can he get. He also gains 1.62 chances per 90, and that's in the top 20% in the league he plays in for Rosenborg. And that just shows he can also create. That's why he's so linked with Ødegaard, and he's going to be the next Ødegaard. To be honest, Arteta probably should have got him, and he could have been mentored by Ødegaard. That would have been great. But I feel like at Manchester City, Pep Guardiola can really mould him into being one of the best creative midfielders. And eventually, I feel like he'll replace Foden if Guardiola is willing to do that. Now, he left Manchester City. He left Rosenborg to go to Manchester City for around £15 million, and in a 5-year contract, and he's going to remain there until 2030. And it's record sale for Rosenborg for about £15 million. So imagine how good they can get, and eventually they could be the top dogs in Norway. And Nypan, I feel like he's done his career really, really clever. He stayed at Norway, and he's been noticed. I'm not saying he wasn't noticed at all. He was very much noticed by not the whole world, but a lot of major scouts. They noticed him, but he stayed in Norway. He's been clever there. He's got a lot of playtime. He can get a little experience by that way. And then he's moved to Manchester City, where he can actually be a squad player, and he can be mentored by and be taught by Pep Guardiola, who manages one of the most creative players in Xavi, De Bruyne. and Nypan can really follow in their footsteps. He's going to more follow into De Bruyne's footsteps because of how he plays, and you could see a future rivalry where Ødegaard will be up against Nypan, and that'll be the Norwegian rivalry, I guess. Now what's going to happen is most likely the case, Nypan, he's going to be loaned to Girona for a season. There's a good chance of that happening, and I feel like that'd be great. And if he plays there regularly in the Spanish league, where technical and passing abilities is more emphasized and it's more utilized, he can really grow into being the next Ødegaard or being the next best creative player, and he could really thrive at Girona. The only problem is he's not being mentored or taught by Pep Guardiola, and that's the only thing that I feel like he would have really, the only main reason he joined Man City was to be taught by Pep Guardiola. His roles is most likely being a deep line playmaker or roaming number 8, where he could dictate tempo and he could really start the play. So the defender, they get the ball, they give it to him, and he can really start the attack, let it start rolling, and they can start attacks more quicker, and that's probably what Nypan's job is going to be in the future. And the thing is, Nypan, he's very versatile, so he hasn't had a permanent position. He plays in the 8, he can also play as a false 9 and advanced playmaker, and he needs to decide in the next 2-3 years what position is he going to be. He could also just, be okay with a versatile player, but I feel like if you're more better to choose one position where you can be really insane at than be pretty decent at all the positions, I feel that'd be better for him. And I feel like he'd be great as a advanced playmaker, because as a deep line playmaker you need to be able to be more defensive, and yes, he could land that, but I feel like how he is, he's probably much better as an advanced playmaker. And if I was Guardiola or the Girona manager, where he's probably going to get loaned to, I would put him as the advanced playmaker. One key thing about him at his age, which is really great for him, is he's effective in tight spaces. That's really hard to do for even players who are in their prime, and he's able to do that at his age, and that's what makes him just so good, so nimble, get past defenders, and that's the play you really want, especially in a Manchester City Pep Guardiola tiki-taka system. You want players who are really effective in the tight spaces. So what do you think? Is he worth it? I think for £15 million it's definitely worth it. Is he the next Ødegaard? I feel like he's not the next Ødegaard. He is Nypan, and you shouldn't label him as the next Ødegaard, even though I'll be saying in the whole video, but I feel like you should call him Nypan, and he's gonna be, I feel like it's a big shout, but I think he's gonna be better than Ødegaard. He just, the play he is, I feel like he'll definitely be better than Ødegaard. I don't know if everyone else would believe that once he gets into his prime, because of the amount of PR and the amount of, publicity and the fame, the amount of people who claim Ødegaard as one of the best creative midfielders in the league, is the reason why Nypan might not be noticed even when he gets in his prime. But I feel Nypan can definitely be one of the best midfielders, and I feel he'll be better than Ødegaard. And it's a huge thing to say, and he's very far off from being there. No, he's a bad player, it's Ødegaard is that good, and Nypan is just really starting right now. And I feel like for Nypan, if he's kept on the right track, if Pep Guardiola really teaches him the De Bruyne way, I feel like he will be one of the best creative midfielders in the Premier League, probably of all time, but definitely in his generation, if he keeps on going the way he is. 15 million, I think, is an absolute bargain. And let me know in the comments, what do you think? Is he great? Is he good? Will he be better than Ødegaard? In my opinion, yes. What do you think? Let me know. Could you like, comment, share, subscribe, and thank you for doing so.